Hey, welcome back to the channel. Danger Ranger 86 here. Name pending to Techie Garage. So, probably what I'll be referring to myself from now on. So, in this video we're going to start going through, and yeah, I'm in a different room. I am on carpet. However, I have a cord, which they were free, so if the static kills it, it's not like I'm, out anything. If you haven't already seen the previous video, I got 5 systems given to me, gifted to me, dropped off, donated, however you want to put that. So these machines I didn't pay for, so if something goofs up or fries or whatever, I'm not out anything. So anyways, so in this video we're going to start kind of diving in, see what we're looking at hardware wise, see what we have, see what we don't have. So stay tuned.
Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. I just been living online, my city don't show me no loving.
Alright, excuse the cord if you can see it, but it's my mic, so that way you can hear my voice better. So the first one we're going to mess with is the Compaq, and all I'm really doing is opening up the case to see what we have or don't have in the box, which for the project that I talked about, it's only going to work if one or more of these have some sort of storage device, hard drive. I doubt any of them are going to be solid state, because solid state is pretty new and these seem like they're at least maybe 7-8 plus years, especially this one. I don't expect there to be solid state in this, but either way, let's dive in. Which thumb screw, which makes it nice, because then you can just undo this, pop this off. Okay, and this is the AMD Sempron, which I have not had any experience with AMD. Designed for XP. We have a couple more. So there's a model number, so at least we might be able to get some stats from Google on what exactly we're looking at. And it says Windows XP Home Edition. There's no X, so I would be to guess that chances are it does have Windows XP Home. But considering it's a Compaq Presario, I wouldn't actually be that surprised, because that is about the time frame for Windows XP. So let's dive in and see what we got. Just standard panel, standard store-bought box. About how it goes. Okay, this is, oh, and I want to correct myself on one thing really quick. I know I talked about USBs in the front, and they're not all in the front. So if you look in the back, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. You usually have 4 to about 6, depending on motherboard, but 4 to 6 USB 2.0 slots, and you could have a USB 3.0 in the back, but this is too old for 3.0, which would be a blue port or better, but at least it does have 2.0, so you're not, stuck with 1.0. Alright, now let's get to the guts, which doesn't look like there's a whole lot. Wow, no, I'm actually surprised. It looks like there is this one PCI Express slot, possibly. And as I can kind of tell, see, there's an A7VBX-LA. That could be a model number, but this is what I'm talking about. Like, with systems that I've done, you usually have like a ASUS or whoever manufactured it, and then you'd have the model number like ASUS P5QC. It's going to be right there. Most of the time with store-built, or store-bought, pre-built, you're not typically going to have that kind of information. So there is a way, get my flashlight out, sometimes, depending, oh, that's an AGP, oh my god. Okay, holy crap. This is from the Stone Age, because if you are familiar with AGP, advanced graphics port, so you could not put in a PCI Express. I hope this is kind of helping you guys see a little bit better. This is going to be an AMD compatible board, and that is probably about a 1 gig stick if I had to guess. But it's pretty dusty, so let's see if we can't. Let's see. 4 DDA, I'm not even sure what that. 512 DDR 400. Yeah, because it's right at the bottom. I don't have a good way to, but yeah, where my fingernail is, DDR 512. So there's, chances are this is a 400 megahertz DDR1 512 megabyte. So if that's the case, this is, yeah, okay, there's a very good chance there is. Or, sorry, I haven't seen anything this old in a long time, which is why the AGP, because AGP is really old, like 20 years at least. And the only reason why I say that I'm pretty sure this is old, because the one big thing I didn't notice right off the bat, which I should have. Those ribbon cables I was talking about before, yeah, that's what this is. This is PATA, or parallel ATA. It's basically, there's IDE and EIDE. There you go. So I don't remember IDE, but I believe that EIDE was enhanced of the IDE. So you have a 24-pin connector. This is not obviously going to be an SSD because they did not come on parallel ATA. But as you can see if I can get a decent angle. Oh yeah, right here. So CS, which I'm not familiar with that, but master and slave. So that white jumper right there, I don't know why, that's going to be interesting to find out what that is for. But typically, this master jumper right here, so it'd be, this jumper would go 2 down and be on the master. 1 up would be slave if you had 2 drives, which the way this one's set up, you cannot do 2 drives because you would have to have a ribbon cable that had another plug-in for that to happen. So that can only be a master. And for this, you could only have a master. No, you could have a master and a slave. Because see how this one, you have master, but then you have this part down here. That would be your slave drive if you're going to hook up another optical drive. Which at this point would probably just be a CD. Because I really don't think you could run a CDRW. But it's been a long time since I've come across this type of setup. So it's kind of a nostalgia moment for me. I haven't seen ribbon cable on a computer in a long time. I'm not old, but I definitely I remember these bad boys. And then yeah, you have your connector for your power, and this would be the same way because you'd have your, I don't know how easy it is to see, but you'd have your jumper over there, and you'd have to jump it so that way the computer logically knew if it was a master, slave, or what was going on. So that could have been the start of DDR. And if I believe I am on the correct path, this is your CPU 4-pin connector for your power. I believe, yeah, your ATX 12 volt. Yeah, that would be for your chip. And there's 2 ways of figuring out exactly what that processor is. There's an easy way and there's a hard way. Well, a more time-consuming way. Easy way is you would basically turn it on and then go in either my computer or this PC, depending on what operating system you're running. 10, it would be this PC, and everything else before that would be my computer. Right-click that, properties, and that would tell you what chip you're actually running specifically, because it'd have the model right there. The other way you could do it is you could take the CPU fan off, the heatsink off, but leave this, take all that off, and then you'd just be able to read it right on the chip. However you do that, you got to clean the bottom of the heatsink to do it right. Clean the bottom of the heatsink, clean the top of the processor, and then you have to reapply thermal paste because there's a thermal paste compound in between there, and you have to have that, and it helps dissipate heat. But if you do that, you have to make sure you have a fairly thin, even layer. If you put on more thinking this is going to help it, you're going to basically make it hotter doing that. I've done it. So if you'd like to see a video on that, I'd be more than happy to do a demonstration on how to do that. So let me know in the comments below if you would like to see that. And then you got this, which I believe this is all just going to be header wires. Yeah, USB. And then front audio is this one. I know it's really hard to see because I'm trying not to tear too much apart because we still have 4 more systems to look at. But yeah, so this one's front USB. This one's USB. That would be your battery. Yeah, that's your CMOS battery. So if clock doesn't stay tuned and if things are getting a little wonky, chances are your battery's dying. But I want to say, if I'm correct, and someone can totally correct me because this is AMD, because I can see the AMD stamp on the processor, so I know this is an AMD for sure. I would say that this is going to be your North Bridge, because this is before they started integrating the North Bridge in with the CPU. So this would be your North Bridge, and this would be your South Bridge, I believe. And your South Bridge is going to do your PCI Express or PCI slots, your AGP, your front USB, peripherals, all that secondary stuff. Your North Bridge is your graphics, your RAM, like basically all the main components. But yeah, so that's pretty interesting. I did not expect. Well, I knew it was gonna be old, and it has a Western Digital. Let's see if I can't get a better view on Western Digital Caviar. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, we are working with a 120 gigabyte big bad boy IDE hard drive. I just wonder if it says, which I don't see, which I can easily find out. I just have to take the WD 1200 would probably tell me, but 1200B the model number, and I could find out if it's a 5400 RPM or a 7200 RPM. Most likely, since it's in a desktop, it'll be a 7200 RPM because that's typically what you'd have in desktop. Which, it could very well be a 5400, but 7200 is typically mostly what you deal with, or what I've dealt with. But yeah, so that is a old as system. So this is at least probably late 90s, early 2000. Which, all I'd have to do is take that model number, plug it into Google, and I could pretty much figure out and find out when it was manufactured. So, anyways, on to the next one.